You're standing in line at a grocery store, nothing dramatic, just another ordinary errand. A stranger looks into your cart, smiles, and says, "Oh wow, you're getting the orange chicken, that's so authentic." They mean it kindly, but something feels wrong. They aren't asking where you're from. They aren't curious about your story. They aren't engaging with you. They're congratulating themselves for recognizing a cultural object, for consuming something associated with another culture, for signaling openness without connection. Psychologist Christine Mark-Helms uses this exact moment to describe a central tension in modern culture, the gap between consuming diversity and understanding it, between curiosity and performance, between openness and a new, quieter hierarchy. This tension has a name: cultural omnivorism, and today it shapes how we eat, listen, watch, vote, judge, and belong. At its simplest, a cultural omnivore is someone with wide-ranging tastes. They enjoy opera and hip-hop, art films and reality TV, Michelin-starred dining and street food, high fashion and thrifted basics. They move fluidly between what used to be called highbrow and lowbrow culture. This contrasts with the cultural univore, someone whose tastes are narrow, homogeneous, and tied to one tradition, class, or subculture. For most of modern history, elites were expected to be exclusive in taste, to like only the refined things, to reject mass culture, to display distinction through restriction. Today, prestige looks different. Status often comes from range, not refusal. Knowing a little about everything has replaced knowing only the right things. But here's the central question of this entire video. Is cultural omnivorism a sign of genuine openness and democracy, or a more sophisticated form of elitism? Is it progress, or is it snobbery, redesigned for a pluralistic world? If you enjoy slow, thoughtful breakdowns of culture, psychology, and power, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps long-form ideas like this reach people who are looking for depth, not just noise. Now, let's go back in time. To understand omnivorism, we need to understand the world it replaced. In 1899, economist and sociologist Thorstein Veblen observed that elites didn't just consume to meet needs. They consumed to be seen. Leisure activities, opera, hunting, fine dining were public signals of status. They required time, education, wealth, freedom from manual labor. Taste was not personal expression, it was social communication. Culture was a badge. Nearly a century later, sociologist Pierre Bourdieu gave this logic its most powerful framework. Bourdieu argued that elites maintain power not only through money, but through cultural capital, accent, manners, knowledge, taste, a sense of what is appropriate. Taste functions as a boundary mechanism. You don't need to explicitly exclude people. They exclude themselves by not knowing the rules. This is the world of the cultural snob: classical music over pop, museums over malls, literature over television. Culture preserved class boundaries quietly and efficiently. Then something changed. In the early 1990s, sociologist Richard Peterson noticed that high-status Americans were no longer cultural snobs. They were eclectic. They listened to classical music, jazz, rock, country, world music. High status was no longer marked by exclusion, but by selective inclusion. Peterson coined the term cultural omnivorousness. This was not randomness, it was a new strategy of distinction. Peterson linked omnivorism to massive social transformations, post-World War II economic growth, expanded higher education, globalization, civil rights movements, feminist movements. Rigid elitism became socially awkward. Openness became a moral virtue. But, and this is crucial, not everyone could perform openness equally well. Some scholars see omnivorism as progress. Research links omnivorous taste to greater tolerance, cosmopolitan worldviews, support for immigration, openness to difference. From this view, omnivorism reflects a society less obsessed with hierarchy. Taste becomes playful, boundaries soften, culture becomes shared. Other scholars disagree. Sociologist Sam Friedman studied comedy tastes in Britain. He found that many omnivores weren't empowered, they were displaced. Upward mobility forced them to leave behind the culture of their upbringing. Without fully belonging to elite culture, they became fluent in many cultural languages, at home in none. Omnivorism for them wasn't freedom, it was permanent translation. Modern omnivores often value authenticity, originality, realness. They reject mass-produced culture. They disdain sellouts. They criticize hybrids as inauthentic. This creates new boundaries, not high versus low, but authentic versus fake. Hierarchy survives, it just becomes harder to see. Being an elite omnivore now requires constant cultural updating, trend literacy, global awareness, irony management. You must know what's mainstream, what's underground, what's acceptable to like, and how to like it properly. This is not democratic, it's cognitively expensive. Consuming food from another culture can feel like openness, but without relationship, it becomes symbolic. You know the dish, not the people, the flavor, not the history, the product, not the struggle. This is the cultural omnivore's dilemma. Is your openness relational or performative? Spotify Wrapped doesn't just track taste, it performs it. Eclecticism becomes an identity badge, but studies show omnivores still cluster socially. Taste diversity doesn't equal social mixing. Figures like Pharrell Williams thrive on cultural agility. Influencers move between subcultures and luxury seamlessly. Brands like ELF Cosmetics succeed by signaling fluency across worlds. Omnivorism has become economic capital. We live in a world of infinite choice. Omnivorism feels like freedom, but it also creates pressure to know more, consume more, understand more, perform openness perfectly. So we end with the question that matters most. In a world of endless culture, is being a cultural omnivore a form of liberation or a new obligation? Perhaps the answer isn't in what we consume, but in how we relate to culture, to people, to difference. Reflection, not accumulation, may be the rarest form of cultural capital left. If this video helped you see culture differently, subscribe for more long-form philosophy, sociology, and psychology. If it gave language to something you felt but never named, like the video, and if someone you know lives under the pressure to be endlessly cultured, share this with them. Sometimes understanding the system is the first step to stepping outside it.